Okay, so this week we've got some news from the FDA, MIT, Siemens, Washington State University, and there are new potential rulings or rumblings in the US AI regulation. Um, we first highlight researchers at Washington State University. They have been using lab experiments to identify single critical amino acid interactions in a herpes virus fusion protein. And it shut down the viral entry by mutating it. And in layman's terms, AI detected something that will slow down or stop the herpes virus. And herpes is a really big health problem. Um, Most people carry the virus, not all. By the time that we're adults, 40 years old, most people have the virus. They don't always have it showing. And some people don't react to it at all and it can stay there, but other people get cold sores is what this is based on, because there are so many people that they can use for testing with this. And so they figured out something that slows down or shuts down the virus. And they were able to do this processing with AI and model out this and come up with um, new solutions because AI could go through and do the research so much faster than humans could. And then it can propose a solution, which then of course has to get tested, but it takes a lot of the heavy lifting out and you can do R&D even faster. And so for any business, if you're thinking of if you do any sort of R&D, like before you produce more physical prototypes or spend more time in the lab working on something, you can look at how AI modeling might be able to help you out ahead of time. And even domestic things like painting a wall. You can run through a lot of different choices, see how it looks in a lot of different lights in your home with AI. There are personal and professional relevance for this because AI just helps us do R&D faster. This is a sophisticated experiment, and you could be doing things at home too. You could be shopping and trying on outfits virtually. Even better now using Nano Banana. Um, the FDA, this is a really cool one because the FDA has given this AI. It's the first AI tool to speed liver disease drug development, and that's FDA approved AI tool. And so this is a system that evaluates liver tissue images in trials, and they're trying to standardize and speed up the process, which usually requires a lot of expert reviewers. So instead, this AI can review these the images that they are getting um, from like they're getting the images, they're in microscope, and then it can evaluate those tissue images faster. And so you don't need all of these high level professionals that would inhibit or, it can be cost prohibitive, but also time because these high level medical professionals have very limited time. And so a lot of times that's what slows down research. So again, this is faster R&D. Um, and this is an FDA approved form of it, which is really cool. And it's unique that the FDA is approving this AI tool. And for final decisions, it's the humans that remain the end point in decisions, but AI can flag things and say, hey, this is problem liver tissue. And then they can get medical attention more quickly than having to wait. Sometimes people are waiting 6 weeks, 8 weeks to get the human to respond, even though the person has already read what the results might be. So the medical system is something we pay close attention to because they have so many of these bottleneck problems that are really easy to define. And in organizations, in your business, there are bottleneck problems. If you ask your team, they can tell you. I'm sure I'm going to hear about them on Friday when we have our meeting, where bottlenecks might be that we can loosen up with some AI and automation. And then MIT always has interesting things going on. This article talks about the smaller models that can follow your particular strict business constraints and not veer off of it. And so sometimes you don't need a huge model to do big tasks. And you can use smaller models to execute specific tasks, like budgeting, itineraries, anything with strict formatting. This works really well in accounting. And so you just need the model to be able to handle these really strict parameters and not veer off. It doesn't have to be attached to the internet or anything. And it can be really affordable. You can self-host these smaller models and you can borrow the AI brain for doing this work and you don't have to pay the same as those larger models. Um, Now, so this is big, semiconductor manufacturing, which, most of us are not in that business. But what they have done here is they are using AI-driven manufacturing, including more centralized automation and improvements for production efficiency and resilience. Now, the business benefit of this is higher uptime, better yield, and better responsiveness in operations. That these operations are very sensitive to delays and variation. And I know a lot of people with manufacturing businesses, and some of them are starting to put AI into the manufacturing floor, and it will help. There are a lot of ways that you can use AI in manufacturing to increase uptime, decrease downtime, which is where you lose so much money. And it can be in QAing the things that pass by. But this is something to just take a look in. Yes, it's semiconductors. We're not all in semiconductors. And you can see the value here and look at it to get ideas for yourself and where you can improve even your scheduling, your throughput, your quality of execution. In having AI as part of your workflow and not just living as a tool on the side. And then we've included a link to our workflow and SOP creator, because even if you don't know your workflow, you can't totally define it. You could talk to this workflow and SOP creator, have a conversation and say, I want to make my customer onboarding experience better. Like what's a normal or what's an optimized AI optimized workflow for customer onboarding? And you can give it your tools or it makes recommendations for tools. And we had a documented 20-step customer onboarding workflow, and we had to create SOPs in each area and decide where the humans are going to be in each area, where we're going to use automation, where we're going to use AI. And this tool helped us to get really clear and define like where do we want to be uniquely human and where do we want to automate in this process so that we could onboard people faster and that they would have a better experience. So just think about the workflows and how it plays into it. And this tool is really useful, the workflows and SOP creator. This will also be in the notes if you're watching this on YouTube so that you can get that. And then everybody should be paying attention to this that lives in the US or has US clients. Um, the US president's executive order is trying to block state AI laws that are different than federal. And traditionally, all the states in the United States can make their own laws around something like this. There are different AI laws in California right now and in New York, and they all have different flavors based on lawsuits in the states. And now the federal office is trying to eliminate all of those state laws. So it's something to pay close attention to. And for you, just make sure that you know where you're using AI, you know how you're using it in your organization, who's doing what with it, and that it's documented. So what data do you use? What is the system allowed to do? Where are humans used in there? And how do you handle complaints, edge cases, data breaches? And we have an AI use policy that we've got an internal policy and an external policy. Very good for you to review that maybe in January. And look at how you're protected by your AI use policy or not if you don't have one yet. And make sure that every person in your company signs the AI use policy and gets education about how to use the AI tools. I will say that most organizations that we go into, people are using tools that they pay for out of their own pockets, and they're using it on work. So definitely good to take inventory of who's doing what. And if you want help with that, let us know. Um, we have a special section on how to turn long videos into short videos with Pictory. And Pictory is a super fun tool. We've got a link here. And then how you can edit your images in Pictory. You can do a lot of different things. You could turn PowerPoint presentations into videos using Pictory. It's a really easy tool to use, and you can get professional looking videos and not be a video pro. I am not a video pro, but I've used Pictory to make some good stuff that I'm not too embarrassed to send out. Um, and then tools to try. So Pictory, obviously. OpenForge, we use that for AIO, AI SEO, GEO. We use this as our AI SEO info tool, and it helps us write the content that is optimized for us. Suno AI is super fun, and for the holidays, maybe something you want to play with. You can make some songs for your loved ones over at Suno AI. You can create playlists for parties of all customized music. I use it in my presentations. And when I do workshops and I have songs to play at the breaks and things like that, it's a fun one. Um, and then we are introducing some new packages in the new year, which you'll see on our website shortly. There's a little bit about our AI transformation package in this newsletter.